Yeah, well, I like it, to be quite honest with you. I really think it was really nice to see how they, how they portrayed the team of the 1980s, but also the culture in which, they brought into the whole documentary, where you see a lot of the Rastafaris, you see the guys, the groundsmen, the guy, the people from the lower echelons of society, being featured in it. I thought that was brilliant, Not only the fact that we were very, very good back then, we were a very, very good side, under the supreme leadership by Clive Lloyd and then Viv afterwards. But I liked it. I like it, to be quite honest with you. I know there were a lot of things that were cut out of it, but I like the way how they package it. Well, I believe that, I don't know how they'll work it out financially, but I believe that even when you look at the documentary Fire in Babylon, I would like to see some of the players who have made us very, very good, or who have given us that type of reputation promoting West Indies cricket. Could you imagine that team of the 80s going around the world telling people, oh, you've got to invest in West Indies cricket, and you've got to come to the Caribbean and watch it. We've got a very good young side coming up, and doing all the things that that in the way that you can promote West Indies cricket. I believe that that team, or the majority of guys who are alive and who are willing to do it, would be a good way of how we can promote West Indies cricket and to get people to appreciate the fact that we are going to be strong again. There's no question about it. We are going to be strong again. Oh yeah, I was with them. I was with them during the Pakistani tour of the Pakistan series, when we entertained Pakistan and when we entertained India, and they were calling me a movie star and they were saying all sorts of things. But those guys watched it about 4 or 5 times on tour. And they were very, very, I mean, the young guy, Kurt Edwards, he was very fascinated when he saw it. And there was a lot of the young players, right, who really were very appreciative of the fact that what we have done and the type of cricket that we played back then, because you would appreciate a lot of those guys were not born yet while we were dominating the world. Well, it's always, when you beat England, beating England 5-0 here in the 80s is always brilliant. Also, one innings that I saw, Gordon played at Lord's when David Gower set us, a massive total in the last innings, and Gordon got 214, Larry Goombs got 90 odd, and they got a run up for about 8 or 9. And that to me was a fantastic innings. And then I would have seen a lot of innings played by Viv, who I believe was probably the best batsman I've ever seen, or probably one would think, judging from my interpretation, would be the best batsman that the world have ever seen. Yeah, well, when I first started, I was pretty weak against spin bowling, and not that it would get me out, but I would never be able to dominate it. I would always be scratching around and looking to play a little fine sweep or a little slog sweep at it, when possible. And I went to Australia and I got 140 odd at Sydney. I think I got 140 out of 300 and a little bit or something like that. I thought that was like for me to say to the world, look, I can show you that I can play spin now, and I really cherish that knob. Gordon and I, our relationship was based on a lot of trust. I think that I was very appreciative of the fact that Gordon was the #1 player, and Gordon always used to let me know that he's the #1 player. I never got the opportunity I never get the opportunity to face first ball. I got it once when I was in Barbados in a game that was just a little bit of a charity game, a farewell game for us. I think it was the Vice Chancellor game that we played in Barbados a couple of years ago against England, and I got the opportunity to face first ball. And he was definitely the better player. There's no question about it. He was more complete. When you look at it, Gordon played a lot of cricket in England. He would have had a lot of years of playing county cricket, gaining a lot of experience. While I only started playing county cricket back in 1989, when I played for Middlesex. So it was a situation where I did appreciate the fact that Gordon is number one, and I'm not here to compete with Gordon. You know, I'm there to make sure that the partnership grows and we become very strong, and also we do the job that the team requires. You know, giving the team a start is always very, very important, and we felt that way. You know, it was a situation where we figured, well, look, you know, if we can give the team a start, you know, got people like Viv, at the time, Kashiran, Lawrence Rowe, Clive Lloyd, you know, the likes, and then later on you had Larry Gooms, Richie Richardson, Viv Richards, and those guys coming in to, you know, it's going to make us really, you know, a very, very strong batting lineup. We played as a team. I mean, sometimes the egos did get in the way. You know, you can't help it. It's human nature. You know, sometimes, you know, when Gordon felt that he was batting so good that, you know, he felt he was the number one batsman in the world then. There was times when I was batting really well and I thought that I was really good. I was number one. I thought I was number one player in the world as well at some time. So, you know, it depends upon that little purple patch you might get. You might start feeling that, you know, you're definitely playing well and you think that you're really good. But, you know, we always used to play for what the team benefits, you know, and I think that in a situation like that, you can say you might be batting good now, but it's very hard for you to say that you're a better batsman than Viv Richards. I mean, at the time, Viv was unbelievable, and we played the cricket in the right spirit as well. You know, we wanted to do well. We were tough. You know, we wanted to do well. But even though our bowling was very, very strong, you know, a lot of people obviously do not really appreciate the fact that, you know, when we were bumping the hell out of people and, you know, giving people a barrage of short balls, it was very difficult for them to give us back, you know, some of our medicine, because we had Haynes and Greenwich, you know, who were capable of handling the short ball, and it didn't seem as though that it would worry us that much. And then if you get Haynes or Greenwich out, you had Viv coming in who was brutal towards the short ball. I still think Australia, you can never really discard Australia. I still think Australia was a very, very, very formidable side, especially when you look at the likes of Alan Border's side, you know, that we played against as well. We've got a lot of respect for Alan Border as well, because we thought that he was one of the toughest Australians that we've played against, you know. I mentioned Alan Border. We had the opportunity to play the likes of Botham, Gower, and Mike Gattin. Then you had, you know, Sunny Gavaskar, who I thought was one of the best opening batsmen in the world I've ever seen. You know, we had the likes of Tanduka, who is still playing right now. There's a lot. I mean, I can go along and call names, you know, for the people who have played in our area for a long time, because even though we were a very strong side, we used to appreciate people from the other territories who were playing well. I remember in Barbados, we had this Jimmy Amanoff playing very well against the West Indies team, getting hit by Malcolm Marshall, coming back and hooking in for 2 sixes, you know. You know, we always used to appreciate that, and we used to really appreciate the toughness in the opposition, sometimes the ones who are really up for the fight.